Welcome to another episode of the Jampack Report, today for February the 17th of 2021. Of course, my name is Samuel Adams, and this is a daily gaming news podcast meant to bring you the hottest news you need to know from around the industry. Hosted on YouTube and podcast services around the world 5 days a week, it's your one-stop shop for everything you need to know. So if you enjoyed the show and you like what you see, hit that subscribe button and keep coming back for more. But I did want to let you guys know at the very beginning of the show that a Nintendo Direct is finally happening later today. This is the first real Nintendo Direct since September of 2019. Let that sink in. It's been a hot minute, so Nintendo probably has a good bit to discuss, but they take to Twitter to make the announcement, writing, quote, "Tune in February 17th at 2 p.m. Pacific Time for a Nintendo Direct livestream featuring roughly 50 minutes of information focused on available games like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and games coming to Nintendo Switch in the first half of 2021. Obviously, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is mentioned in the post, so you can obviously expect some news for that game. But on top of that, there are plenty of people speculating, throwing names around. Breath of the Wild 2 is one that people have brought up. Will we see the reveal of the Nintendo Switch Pro, or whatever their next big console is going to be? Metroid Prime 4. I think these are all a bit lofty, personally, but I'm also not deeply ingrained in the world of Nintendo, so I don't really have a horse in this race. But I know that a ton of people out there have been waiting for news from Nintendo, and it looks like you are going to be getting it later today. And of course, you can tune in tomorrow, and we'll do a brief recap of everything announced during today's show. But for our main story of the day, Marvel's Avengers is finally getting its next generation upgrade, and it's coming on March the 18th. The PS5 and Xbox Series X versions of Avengers will have upgraded visuals and frame rates, significantly faster loading times, improved destruction, and haptic feedback for each hero on the DualSense controller for the PlayStation 5. On top of that, the Xbox Series S will have an increased resolution as well, up to 1440p, as that is the highest resolution that the Series S supports in terms of gaming, but it's launching alongside the addition of Hawkeye as a playable hero across all platforms. So the Hawkeye thing is kind of weird. Technically, there's already a Hawkeye. You had Kate Bishop in the game, and then now you have the addition of Clint. So they have different fighting styles from what I have read and from what I have seen. So this is kind of not only building the narrative of Marvel's Avengers, but it's also diversifying the style of hero that Hawkeye actually is in the game. That's all beside the point. How are we feeling about the new gameplay? Obviously, you can check it out if you would like to. There's a deep dive on Hawkeye right here. But it's more Avengers. It looks slightly better, in my opinion, on the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. The gameplay that was shown was captured on a PlayStation 5, and it's, again, perfectly fine. This game is no longer catering to the broad gaming audience, and I want to really drive that point home. You see on the IGN YouTube page a like to dislike ratio that is abysmal in the grand scheme of things. It's roughly about 50-50, slightly more likes the last time I checked than dislikes, and so that shows the public opinion, where you have just general IGN visitors that are not satisfied with where Marvel's Avengers is. Then if you head over to the Square Enix page that is devoted to Marvel's Avengers, you see a like to dislike ratio that's roughly about 80% to 85% likes to dislikes, and so that's not that bad. Obviously, it could be better, but the core fan base is satisfied with what these next-gen upgrades are bringing, and the core fan base is generally satisfied with what the game is bringing to the table. There is always room for improvement, and there are plenty of improvements to come, but ultimately, Marvel's Avengers is doing what they can during the pandemic, and I think that the team behind the scenes that is trying to make this game work and trying to grow it into something great is really pulling out all the stops, and I think they're going to try and make something very, very cool. I'm always trying to remain optimistic here. I'm not going to be diving in because I'm not a big enough Marvel fan to warrant me getting into a game, and it also feels very squad-based, and I'm primarily a single-player kind of guy. But if you do want to check out Marvel's Avengers, the next-gen upgrade is coming on March the 18th. Obviously, it's going to have that free upgrade for current owners, and that's an exciting time. If you do want to check it out for the first time, maybe dive back in. I would highly, highly, highly recommend for the team that is putting this out to make it a free game for a weekend. Not to keep, but just to try. It would be nice to be able to dabble a bit without having to invest 50 or 60 bucks in playing a game that I'm not entirely sure that I would enjoy. And hopefully we'll see that implemented. I know Xbox does these pretty frequently for major releases, and so hopefully they will go ahead and take that cue and make that happen. But I almost threw some headphones across the room there. But after another delay, Amazon's New World MMO is coming out on August the 31st. Now, unfortunately, this game has been delayed from its original spring release window due to Amazon Game Studios, quote, identifying a few very compelling features that just wouldn't make the original release window. But an open beta is coming on July the 20th, and this does mark the first major release for Amazon Game Studios other than Crucible, which was released and then pulled from shelves when the player count tanked drastically. This follows a report from a few weeks ago that Amazon spends $500 million per year on game development. And again, I do want to reiterate, as it stands right now, there is no game to show for that investment. There's a lot riding on New World, and I've seen some pretty impressive stuff about New World. But building a successful MMO that lasts for a generation is very, very, very difficult. You look to World of Warcraft as kind of the prime example of an MMO that has just spanned nearly 20 years, or over 20 years at this point, of gaming. That is nearly impossible to recreate, and if you don't have a perfect blend of lore and passion and gameplay, it's just not going to happen. So I'm, again, cautiously optimistic about New World. I'm curious as to what these features are that actually push the game back, because I think that is going to be something that could be the deciding factor for a lot of people. What are the unique enhancements that New World brings? What are the unique elements that the game brings to the table? Additionally, this could also be covering up for just a lack of polish. When you think about identifying a very few compelling features that just wouldn't make the original release window, you could be talking about general world textures. You could be talking about specific gameplay elements that are literally foundational to the game itself. You never know what these little PR spins are hiding behind the scenes. But if you do want to dive in, the open beta does begin on July the 20th. It's currently in an alpha state, and so we will see how Amazon's New World MMO shakes up when it comes out later this fall. Or is August 31st summer? Let me know in the comment section down below. But there are some new additions coming to the Xbox Game Pass lineup. On February 18th, you can catch Code Vein on PC, along with Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire Ultimate Edition on cloud and console, and Wreckfest on cloud, console, and PC. February 23rd sees the addition of Killer Queen Black coming to cloud and console, and on February 25th you get one that is very, very big for the Xbox Game Pass system. Dirt 5 comes to cloud, console, and PC, alongside Elite Dangerous and Super Hot Mind Control Delete, which is going to be on PC. This is a very, very, very major lineup here in my opinion. First and foremost, Dirt 5 was one of the standout launch games for the Xbox Series X and really the PlayStation 5 as well. It's one that I've been considering picking up since Forza Horizon 4 is fantastic, but I do want to get a bit more of a rally approach in my racing lineup. So I do want to pick up Dirt 5, and now I have the opportunity to check it out through my Game Pass Ultimate subscription. I'll also mention Elite Dangerous is a very, very big one as well. A lot of people enjoying that. And Wreckfest is a unique little kind of destruction simulator that I absolutely will download when it goes live tomorrow. Plenty of big games coming out right now for Xbox Game Pass, and there are plenty of awesome ones on the way, no doubt. Killer Queen Black is pretty cool, considering a lot of people are still stuck at home. That's kind of an arcade game that I think could be fun. Might play that one with my family whenever that launches later in the month. But Dirt 5, again, the standout by far. That's kind of almost like giving away Control Ultimate Edition. Although that is going to have a much wider appeal, Dirt 5 is still one of those major next-gen experiences that I can't wait to get my hands on personally. So if you do want to check out more information, you can find a rundown of all of these new additions on the Xbox Wire, which is where you can always stay tuned to all of your Xbox information, which is where we found more information about this new Xbox headset. It is the new Xbox wireless headset launching on March the 16th, and pre-orders are open now. Before we dive into this piece of news, I do want to say that I consider this news. This isn't meant to be a fanboy Xbox headset promo. I'm not sponsored. I don't want to just push this stuff down your throat, but the accessories that are released for PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo PC, whatever they might be, if they are significant in the space, then they should be reported on, because not only do you all get to know what each platform holder is bringing to the table, you also get to see the competition. You get to see how these accessories stack up against one another, and so I think it's important to bring up. But the features of this headset are pretty impressive, almost as impressive as its price point. So let's talk about the features. You have spatial sound support with Windows Sonic, Dolby Atmos, and DTS Headphone X support. Xbox wireless connectivity is blended with Bluetooth connectivity, meaning you can mix two different audio sources. So if you have a call coming in on your phone, you can take that call on your Xbox wireless headset while still playing the game. You can do the same exact thing with music from your phone. You can do the same exact thing with anything from any kind of Bluetooth device. That is very, very impressive. Now on top of that, you have mic monitoring, a retractable mic with noise canceling, and quote-unquote best-in-class audio. And then there are also turntable-style volume adjustments in the ear cups. You see that during this little kind of construction breakdown video. The ear cup turns, and so that is how you adjust the volume. This goes live on March the 16th. Pre-orders are live now, and it does run you $100. That's an impressive price point, because I'm looking at my SteelSeries Arctic 9Xs, and they are essentially the exact same headset, but they cost me about $250 at the launch of the console. I have not gone hands-on with these headphones. I do not know what the sound quality is like, but I will tell you that if it does compare to what my SteelSeries brings to the table, these are going to be must-haves for Xbox players. I think back to the Xbox One generation. That headset was hot garbage. Let's not mince words. And so I'm cautiously optimistic about this Xbox wireless headset, and I think that if anything, it's going to be comparable to what you can find on the PlayStation side with their specific wireless headset for the PlayStation 4 and now, of course, the PlayStation 5. I might dive in, give them a shot, because I am a sucker for a good headset. I'm an audiophile a bit myself, and I would love to have something that is proprietary and designed around the Xbox itself. That's what the SteelSeries brings to the table, but I have had a couple of connectivity issues, and that's not to say that I won't have connectivity issues with the Xbox wireless headset as well, but we'll see how it goes. For $100, if it does fulfill all of these claims, it's going to be a really good deal for Xbox players. But that rounds out today's episode of the Jampack Report. If you enjoyed today's show, drop me a like down below and let me know what stories caught your eye today. But specifically, what do you think is going to be shown at today's Nintendo Direct? Would love to hear what you have to say. But until tomorrow, you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon, and peace.